All right. Welcome back to Mindset Monday, the show where we dive deep into the heart and soul of the contracting business. I'm your host, Garrett Bake, here in conjunction with Contractor Plus. Welcome to another episode. Really excited about today. This last week for me was a fun week because I spent a whole lot of time traveling. Now, if you know me, you know I like to travel, but I also like to sit at home. So the balance is what matters the most. If you're here joining us live, go ahead and drop your name, your business name, where you're from, so we can give you a shout out. We got Ground Fog giving us the old emoji wave. Preston Pickle, hello from Residence Roofing and Restoration in Unicoi, Tennessee. Not sure exactly where that is, but let's put it on the list of places to visit. It's kind of crazy this first week in April. And when you're in Arizona, you don't really notice the difference in seasons because let's just be real, there's only two. It's hot and not so hot. But after having lived in Boise, Idaho, and now in Salt Lake City, guess what? I'm experiencing this phenomenon known as false winters. Last week, when I left for Arizona, I think it was 60 degrees. Beautiful, beautiful day. And by Saturday morning, it was snowing again. Wah, wah, wah. I spent some time in Boise, Idaho. It's the same thing. It was snowing a little bit on the drive, which made for some interesting times. Well, we got a few of you checking in, so we'll go ahead and hit the list. Trey Martin, Boom Property Solutions, Hotlanta, Georgia. We got Zach with Aces Masonry Restoration in Cleveland, Ohio. Zay, looks like Caitlin with Sergio's All-in-One. We got Jordan, Jacob Wiki Crown Commercial Roofing in Oklahoma. And we got Les Chapel with Chapel Pressure Washing and Solar Panel Cleaning in the H-Town, Houston, Texas. Welcome to the show. Well, last week I was doing a lot of traveling. In fact, this week I'm doing some more traveling as well. And it's not just the randomness of travel, because let's just be real, there's not a whole lot of fun places to go the first week in April. But the reason I was traveling is because I was meeting with some clients and then we were running some workshops. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what kind of workshops do you run in April? Well, if you're subscribing to any type of a business operating system, you know that every quarter you should be reviewing your business. Because here's the truth around your business. Ready for it? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So as good or as bad as you feel about your business, congratulations, it doesn't matter. What matters is what the numbers are telling you. We've got AMC Services, St. Joe, Missouri, Tim Bass, Straight Up Home Repair Remodeling, Austin, Texas. Very cool. Very cool. Got a couple folks from Texas. Going back to what I was talking about then, the numbers are what drive your business. They drive the decisions that you make. They drive the outcomes. Last week, I also ran a workshop where, believe it or not, we used peanut M&Ms as a tool to show you how to manage cash flow. Now, most contractors won't admit this, but they suffer from a cash flow issue. It might be a lack of cash. It might be a lack of understanding when and how the cash flows in and out of their business. But ultimately, most contractors suffer from cash flow issues. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I've never experienced cash flow issues. But what I can tell you is that I've learned that there's different techniques that you can use to master those. And here in a couple of weeks, we're going to bring my good friend Jeremy onto the show, and we're going to tackle cash flow head on. It's going to be a blast. You're going to get to play around with some M&Ms, hopefully not while you're driving, but we're going to show you how to manage your cash flow. But I'm going to tell you, having been in the presence of, I think, 35 different businesses over the last week, 35 different contractors over the last week, I've noticed some alarming trends. I've noticed some things that, if not taken care of, will ultimately cause them to lose their business. We got Elevate Plumbing out of Chicago, Chi-Town, and Pro Painting LLC. Greetings. Welcome to the show. Now, I want to talk to you guys about these things because I've seen it happen over and over and over again. Contractors don't go out of business because they're not good craftsmen. Contractors go out of business because one of 5 different reasons, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But I'll give you the latest example, okay? We won't use the name. We'll just call it an exterior company. Now, this exterior company out of Idaho. We were working together. And when we started working together, he was experiencing the hockey stick of growth, right? Little growth, little growth, little growth. And all of a sudden, boom, it shoots up, right? He was doing a great job. Craftsmanship was amazing. He had a couple crews and they were just blowing up. And so he came to me and said, "Hey, I need some help. I can't handle this growth." And I was like, "Cool. The first thing we got to do is get you a team that can handle this growth." And so we started working through that. And he found a guy to be his project manager, manage his teams, manage his people, manage his jobs so that he could keep focusing on the other aspects of the business. And so a month went by, month two went by, continued growth. He's super happy. And then by the third month, one week he came in and it looked like somebody had taken his soul. I mean, he was just beaten up. And I was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And he told me that his project manager had not only left, but that he'd found out that he'd been stealing material from him and jobs from him. Was doing jobs on the side with his own material. And he was completely just shattered because now he's owing money to a supply house for supplies that he didn't use, right? Lost customers, revenue, and his business was now suffering because of that. And I'll tell you that up to this day, and that was probably a year ago, he's still working to recover. 3 months, right? 3 months. Now, why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that not necessarily because it will happen to you. It might, but I want to try and avoid it happening to you. It could have already happened to you, but I don't want it to happen to you. And so there's a couple different things that I've noticed as trends talking to these contractors, running these workshops, especially over the last week, and understanding the different phases of business that they're in, which, by the way, there are different phases of business. And having been a part of the show before, we're not just going to talk to you about how to get more leads. You want more leads? There's a very specific process for you to follow, and we can share that with you. You can reach out to me and I'll be more than happy to share that with you. We got some tools for you. But I really want you to understand how to manage a business. Because again, it's going to determine the success or failure of your business. Going back to the numbers, depending on where you're getting your information online, some of the numbers are like, wow, the numbers for job growth in the construction industry dropped 30%. 30% in the month of February. 30%. And you're like, well, shit, that's a big number, right? Big number. But then you read the numbers from the U.S. Labor and Statistics Board that said there were 36,000 jobs added to the construction industry in the month of March. So which group is right? Which numbers are accurate? Well, we don't know. Okay. But I'm going to show you how you can run your business without necessarily needing any of that information, because there will always be opportunity. Do you know when the biggest opportunity was in the construction industry? Some of you experienced this. 2007, 2008. When everybody was running for the hills, when houses were going through foreclosure, when banks were folding, the biggest growth for contractors happened during that time. Why? Because there was still opportunity. There were people who were trashing houses and people were buying those houses. Those houses needed to be remodeled. All of a sudden you could get houses for, 10 cents on the dollar opportunity inside of there, right? So there's always an opportunity to grow your business in an up economy and a down economy. A lot of you guys experienced the COVID economy. Congratulations. Didn't teach you a damn thing about running a business. What it taught you was, hey, I can just throw a random price out there, and because demand outstrips supply, I'm going to get that job. Well, that's not the case anymore. And now you got to learn how to run a business. Tim Bass said, integrity and accountability through business management in a heartbeat. Yep. Andres with DLG Construction out of Corpus Christi, Texas. Welcome. So what are the 5 things then that are going to bury your business? And I say that way because, yes, they will help you succeed. But the crazy part about humans is this: we will run from pain faster than we will run towards pleasure. In other words, you will always run away from something that's hurting you or find a solution for something that's hurting you instead of running towards something that you want. Kind of crazy, right? So what are these 5 things then that will bury your contracting business? Let's go through them. Number 1 is leadership. We talk a lot about leadership on this show because I want you to understand the importance of leadership. Okay. Sometimes days work well. Sometimes people work well. Sometimes equipment works well. But most of the time it doesn't. Okay. And as a business owner, you got to learn how to problem solve. I was listening to Andy Frisella the other day. If you don't know who Andy Frisella is, I call him an influencer, business owner, 9-figure guy, a really smart guy. And he was talking about being a business owner. And he said 90% of the time, you're going to be questioning whether you're making the right decision or not. You're going to be stuck in the mud. You're going to be dealing with employee issues. You're going to be dealing with contractor issues. You're going to be dealing with contract issues. You're going to be dealing with money issues. It's issue after issue after issue. 90% of the time. 8% of the time, you're going to feel like, okay, I think I got this thing under control. I may not be winning, but I think I got this thing under control. And 2% of the time, you're going to feel like you're winning. Think about that. 98% of your time is either surviving or barely getting by. 98% of your time. 2% of the time are the celebrations. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And so if that's the case, okay, you have to understand that leadership is the most important thing inside of your business. The most important thing. And leadership starts with you. Leadership and management are not the same things. When you manage people, you're telling them what to do. When you lead people, you're empowering them to do the thing that they should be doing. Huge difference. And so what does it mean for you to be the leader of your business? Well, number 1, it's the vision. Where is it that you're going as a business? Now, as a question I'll ask each of you, and you can drop it down below. What's the vision that you have for your contracting business? By the way, make a lot of money, not a good vision. Retire your parents? More of a personal vision. But what is the vision that you have for your business? Now, here's the thing about a vision. When you transition from being the one-man band, chucking a truck, or you and your cousin Vinny, to now having an organization, you have an assistant and you have office staff, you have project managers and construction managers, you have laborers, you have leads, you have a team. People don't care about your vision. They care about how they fit in your vision. Huge difference. So number 1 is vision inside of leadership. The second thing is culture. Gone are the days when you can just hire somebody with a heartbeat and hope to get by. You can't do it anymore. You should be hiring people who fit your culture and align with your vision. I hate to say this to you. If you're a married guy, family's important to you, and you're hiring a bunch of single dudes, you're going to have problems because single guys have different outlooks on life than married guys do. It's not that they're bad guys. It's just you're going to have issues. Because when you try to have a family picnic and a bunch of single dudes show up, you're going to have a problem, right? Or you have a date night, or you have a whatever activity that involves family. Okay? Again, long-term, where's my business going? I want to align with people who long-term want stability. I want to align long-term with people who want to grow. I want to align long-term with people who value the same things that I do. The third thing then inside of leadership is resources. What are resources? Resources are money. You need money to run a business. Resources are people. You need people to run a business. And resources are materials and supplies. You need those to run a business. Equipment, if you will, right? So what resources do I need to run my business? Again, leadership. We got Tim asking, how many aspects of running construction business is there and how many positions is what I'm trying to say? I feel like I do 6 or 7 jobs. Congratulations, Tim. Welcome to the game. You and most every other contractor. Let's see, it's 8 a.m. I got the sales and marketing hat on. Oh, take that off. We're running a job now, so I'm going to put that hat on, right? And you're constantly switching hats. So yes, this is what we're talking about. So there's 5 aspects, and these are the things that'll bury you. And this is what I'm talking about right now. But thank you for bringing that up. And Tim did drop his vision to be consistent and leave a legacy for my children. Love it. But let me ask you, Tim, if it's just you, that's great. But what about your employees? Do they care about leaving a legacy for your children? Probably not. But what do they care about? Maybe leaving a legacy for their children, right? So you exchange my for our. And now all of a sudden, they can be a part of that vision. All right, next thing, sales and marketing. This is the thing we love to talk about the most, isn't it? How am I getting more leads? Hey, Angie's List, can you give me more leads? Hey, Home Advisor, please, pretty please, right? Hey, Facebook, if I talk about the fact that I have a concrete company or a painting company or a landscape company or electrical company or whatever, and I show you a couple of pictures, will you give me some leads? Pretty please, right? So that's not what we're talking about. Sales and marketing, I put them together. Some people like to separate them. I put them together because they work together, okay? What is marketing? Marketing is your ability to get people to pay attention to you. Some companies do a really good job of this. Some people and some companies don't. If you're cruising down the highway or the freeway and you see billboards, there's some billboards you don't even look at ever. And there's some billboards where you're like, it caught your attention. Whether you're going to buy their product or service or not, it caught your attention, right? That's their job, catch your attention. You scroll through Facebook, you watch a video, caught your attention. You scroll through Facebook and you pass the video, didn't, okay? So marketing, the ability to capture attention. If you cannot capture attention, you cannot grow your business. Think about that. Can't get attention, can't grow my business. So how do you get attention? Again, real high level conversation, but you got to figure out, number one, who do you want to work with? You don't want to work with everybody. Some of you guys, commercial guys. Some of you guys want to work with builders and remodelers. Some of you want to work with homeowners. Some of you kind of mix in between, right? It doesn't mean you can't work with everyone, but you want to figure out how you want to work with. Why? Because then you can start to message them. You can figure out where it is that they're hanging out with or who has access to them. If you want to work with property managers, congratulations. That's a great angle. That's a great industry. But how do you get in front of property managers? You go knock doors on apartment complexes or condos? What do? Right? Find organizations that already have those groups put together. There's a group called NARPM, National Association of Residential Property Managers. I think it's what it stands for. Guess what? It's a group of property managers, and you can become a part of that group and then build relationships and become the expert, right? You want to work with builders. Congratulations. There's builders and contractors associations across the country. Association of General Contractors. There's a Home Builders Association. There's a Builders and Contractors Association. I don't know what it is in your area, but it's in your area. You can become a part of that, right? So again, getting in front of the people that you want to do business with. If you want to work with homeowners, one of your best resources ever will be realtors, because realtors deal with homeowners every single day. Last week, I did a presentation for a realtor group. They asked me to. And I literally spent 5 minutes talking to them about contracts and the importance of using contracts when using contractors. And afterwards, they asked me a whole ton of questions. Number one, hey, do you know any plumbers? I have a job. Hey, I have a remodeling job. Do you know any contractors? Hey, I have this electrical problem. Do you know? And they just opened it up, right? Yeah, again, where are your people or who already has access to them? Marketing, getting people to pay attention to you. What is sales? That is your ability to get somebody to say yes. Okay. Now, how do we get people to say yes? Well, you got to learn how to sell. The 2020 to 2022 and a half economy, you didn't have to know how to sell. You could write an estimate on a paper napkin and they would say yes, but not anymore. People are looking for multiple bids. People are smarter. People are cost conscious, right? People need to be educated. So part of your sales process, you have to understand, what am I doing to get them to know, like, and trust me? Prior to me ever showing up? Are you sending them videos? Do you have an email that outlines the process? Do you send them a text message, right, with a picture of their tech that's going to be on the way, right? What is it that you're doing to help that sales process prior to being there? What about when you're actually there, either in the house or on the job site? How are you selling yourself? Okay. How quick can you turn around an estimate or a bid? Is it something that you're leaving for a week or two down the road when they've already made the decision? You're wondering why you can't close them? What about your leave behind? Yes. What are you leaving them to remember you by? Okay. And that doesn't even include your process for selling. So there's a lot that goes into that. But if you don't learn how to sell, you're not going to close deals. And if you don't close deals, you are going to close your business. So sales and marketing, that's area number 2. Area number 3, we like to call it operations. You can call it whatever the hell you want to call it, but it's called operations. It's your ability to fulfill on the thing that you sold. I don't care if you sold a gutter, you sold a sprinkler head, you sold a warranty package. Ultimately, you sold them something. But if you can't fulfill on it, you're going to have issues. This morning in a group that I was a part of, this woman has an issue because there was a contractor who said in the contract, that they were going to put insulation on the soundproofing insulation in the interior walls. Well, they did a little bit of remodeling. It's 5 years ago. They did a little bit of remodeling and realized there's no insulation. Problem, right? Now he's going to get sued. That's his own fault. Okay. Again, your ability to fulfill on the things that you said you were going to do. That's operations. Now we can bring people into that. Sure. I like to keep it separate. But how is it that you do what you do? How many different ways are there to lay sprinkler? How many different ways are there to paint a wall? How about put a roof on? How about frame a house? Hundreds of different ways. But what's your way? Okay. And your ability to document and then duplicate your way of doing things. If you can't do that, you don't have a business, you have a hobby, right? A hobby is something you do on the weekends. That's what you have. You need to learn how to manage timelines. You need to learn how to manage people. If you're working with other subs, you need to learn how to manage them. Next area, finance, the F word. This is the F word that nobody likes. See, the other F word people really like, especially on the job site, especially with people they don't like. But the F word that you need to learn to love is finance. You have to learn to fall in love with the numbers. Trust me, I'm not an accountant and I never will be. But the best decision I ever made was to hire a bookkeeper and hire an accountant. Changed my life. Why? Because I don't need to worry about the details in the numbers anymore. I do worry about the numbers, but I don't have to worry about the details. By the way, there's an app for that. There's an app for all your receipts. There's an app for your mileage. There's an app called QuickBooks that can manage all your numbers, right? You can hire somebody for $300, $400 a month to manage all of your stuff. And then you don't have to. But you get the data that you need to make the decisions. Making money and keeping money are not the same thing. Revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, cash is king. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is what's left over in your bank account. So a lot of you guys are like, yeah, man, I'm a 7-figure contractor. Congratulations. How much money do you have in your bank account? Doesn't matter. I'd rather be a $500,000 contractor and have 250 in my account than be $1 million contractor and have 75 all day, every day. It's about keeping money. So if you don't know your numbers, either figure it out yourself or find somebody to help you with your numbers. There's nothing worse. We help contractors with cash flow issues, but there's nothing worse than somebody coming to me in desperation saying, I need a line of credit. I need equipment financing. I need something related to money. And you can get it, by the way, but it's going to cost you. Learn how to manage your money. And last, but certainly not least, people. As I mentioned at the beginning of the conversation, people. People are your greatest asset and resource, or they're your greatest pain in the ass. One or the other. Here's the crazy part about people, including you. People have problems, okay? Businesses don't have problems. Businesses have people and their problems, and they all show up at work. Weekend went well, weekend didn't. going through a divorce, just got married, kids sick, kids healthy. We can go on and on and on. But what matters most is you, one, understanding your people, and then you being able to manage them. Now, what goes into managing people? Very simply, okay? Number one is your ability to filter through the people. And we talked about hiring a little bit, but you have to be able to hire people who are aligned with who you are as a business first, then position specific. Okay. Number two, what does your training process look like? I don't care if Johnny's got 15 years of gutter experience. I want to make sure that Johnny knows how to run gutters like I need him to run gutters, because ultimately it's my business. Okay. And then number three is your ongoing training. How do you make sure that people are doing the same thing every single time? Train, 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 train. That's it. When I was part of the SWAT team, we trained way more than we deployed. I fired tens of thousands of rounds into a paper target. And thank the good Lord, I never had to actually pull the trigger on anyone. But I was prepared because I'd fired tens of thousands of rounds, the same over and over and over again. So these are the 5 things that'll bury your business. And I want to sound the alarm because I don't want you to get to the point where you can't anymore. Leadership, sales and marketing, operations, finance, and people. Everything that you're going to suffer from is going to fall into one of these 5 buckets. Tim just commented. He said, I got scammed so hard on setting up a website for my company that refused to go on the internet with the website, sell cookie cutter. A lot of pictures aren't even yours. It's a money scam. Whole lot going on there, Tim, but totally get it. Which, by the way, if you guys need a super simple website, guess what? Contractor Plus gives you one for free. Might want to take advantage of that. Listen, this is what I want you to get inside of your head. You'll succeed or you'll fail. Those are the only 2 options inside of business. How long you succeed and how quick you fail is 100% up to you and your ability to learn how to properly run a business. Most people quit long before they ever succeed. You're going to have those days where you don't want to get out of bed. You're going to have those days when everything goes sideways. You're going to have those days when you want to pull your hair out. You're going to have those days when you just want to run down to be a one-man band. But at the end of the day, if you can stick it out, if you can learn what you need to learn, if you can do what you need to do, you will succeed. All right. That's all we got for you today. You know what time it is. It's time for you to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.
Ever wonder why some startups get all the VC love? It's like they don't even have to try. Spoiler alert! If you're not a descendant of one of the royal families, or if your office wall isn't graced by a fancy Harvard degree, chances are there's no seat at the table for you, big guy. But here's a plot twist. We don't need it! Who wants to sit at the table with wolves anyway? If you can't enjoy the business you're building, why build it? I'm Justin Smith, CEO at Contractor Plus. We're building a unicorn, and we're raising from the crowd. That means you don't have to be an accredited investor to invest in Contractor Plus. In fact, you can invest as little as $100. The details are on our WeFunder.